Everyone talks about the struggles of being an introvert. I talk about the struggles of being an introvert. But do you know who really struggles sometimes? The extroverts. Because there are plenty of moments when introverts don't just survive, we thrive. Let's talk about them. Hi, I'm Jen. Thanks for watching. We're flipping the usual script today. Instead of focusing on what drains introverts or what things annoy us, we're going to look at the everyday moments where the quiet ones shine. So grab a tea, get comfy, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's celebrate the subtle, steady power of being introverted. Introverts love depth, real meaningful conversations, the kind where you're trying to learn and really understand, to make a connection. While extroverts can chat with 10 people in one night and still won't be able to give you all their names or what they talked about afterwards. Introverts prefer that one long, genuine talk that feels more like a meal. You know, the meaning of life, the best B&Bs in Lisbon, or whether shaka when the walls fell could be used when specifically talking about a fallen souffle, or only when referring to broader picture, cultural, and political events. Yeah, that's a pretty geeky Star Trek reference and a conversation that I have actually had at a party with someone I didn't know then. Introverts may not say much, but when we do, it's about the real stuff. Now, the next situation when introverts shine and extroverts may stumble a little bit is when being left alone to work or to create. That's when introverts hit flow state. No interruptions, no quick team check-ins, just pure, silent focus. I can't tell you the number of times at work that I've been part of a group who's each been given a task to accomplish and a deadline to complete it in a collaborative effort between departments. And left on my own to complete my portion, I've completed and submitted it well in advance, only to be told the deadline is now being pushed out because no one else is even remotely close to meeting the deadline. Extroverts can struggle with silence, with having to work on their own. They start taking breaks to find someone to talk to, someone to bounce their ideas off. Let's get everyone together and talk about this. I'm going to need some input from the team. Introverts, we thrive in the peace, one project at a time. Now, here's something surprising. Introverts often handle uncertainty better than people think. Because when things start to shift, whether it be a new job or a life change or global chaos, introverts have the inner tools for reflection and adaptation. Now, introverts have a preference for stability, and that can lead to anxiety and resistance when things begin to change. But they can and do adapt by breaking down the changes into small baby steps, manageable steps, to make it feel less overwhelming. Introverts know how to take action to recenter themselves in the new situation. Introverts are also meticulous planners. We create detailed plans and pros and cons lists that help us feel more in control of the unknown. Extroverts tend to dive right in. They are energized by new experiences, by new situations, but they rely on social connections with new people to help them adjust. They need the external input. That's their go-to behavior when faced with uncertainty. It's not a bad plan. I mean, look for somebody who's already doing it, who's already done it, who's already in this situation, and buddy up to them. It's a good plan. Extroverts may find it a little bit painful, though, if their attempts to connect are rebuffed, or if there's actually nobody else who's actually done this before. There's no one to connect with. Think of the first day at a new high school. An introvert will listen, learn, quietly observe, and eventually find their place and their people, all while maintaining their grade point average. Extroverts, They will rush into that first day of high school, and their main focus is going to be breaking into the main social clique. And if that clique is full or disinterested, everything in their life tends to suffer until they can create the social connections that they need. In the end, introverts can quietly self-stabilize in a new situation. Extroverts rely on connections with others to stabilize. And if that connection isn't available, extroverts can feel a little bit lost. Okay, everyone knows this next one. Introverts, extroverts, everyone in between on the spectrum. Canceled plans, bad weather, everybody has to stay home. Introverts call that a gift from the universe. I live for the day when staying home is the best option. The pandemic was my time to shine, and I literally thrived. Actually, to the point where I was feeling a little bit guilty at home about how content and happy I was. I've got extrovert friends, and they were suffering in the pandemic. I could tell. Insomnia, texting everyone they knew constantly. I spoke recently about a text chain that I'm on that was started in 2020 by an extrovert friend of mine, by the way. Of course. Extroverts were the ones during the pandemic who were scanning the news desperately hoping for an opportunity to go out, even socially distanced. Anywhere, anytime. Fully masked, it was okay. They just needed to see people, to be with people, to talk to people. Oh, the poor, poor extroverts in my life. I also tend to rejoice in canceled plans, even if I'm the one that made them. I'm all gung-ho when the event is at some point in the future. And Planning Jen just loves the opportunity to remote organize. She loves a spreadsheet, does Planning Jen. But the closer it gets to the actual date, the more I dread having to attend, even my own event. Introverts thrive alone. No FOMO, no guilt, just peace. Another situation where introverts lead the way, we're natural listeners. It's one of our greatest strengths. We also tend to spend more time observing than participating, and that gives us a front row seat to human behavior. In group settings, we notice body language, tone shifts, who's comfortable, who's not. We pick up on details that extroverts might miss while they're talking. You know, the tiny cues that tell you what's really going on. And because introverts do more listening and observing, which are quiet actions, others feel that there's more space for them to open up. Our calm, patient listening style creates trust. People sense that they're genuinely being heard, not analyzed or judged. It can sometimes feel like extroverts aren't actually listening, but rather waiting for a break or an opportunity so they can jump in with their own take on the conversation, or just start an entirely new topic altogether. I'm in my 60s now, and I feel like I have a really good sense of being able to read the room when I walk into a new situation, whether it be a social one or at work. I don't have to actively participate, just listen and observe, and I think I've got a good sense of the room. Then when the time is right, I can make a quiet comment, an observation, or a fully formed, thoughtful suggestion that seems to come out of left field, but I've actually been formulating it since I first arrived. Our quiet attention is our superpower. It's how we understand people so well, often without saying much at all. Introverts don't need to dominate the conversation to shape it. And for the last situation that I think introverts shine in over extroverts, I'm gonna bring you solo travel. Now this is my personal choice because I just returned from my epic solo adventure to Egypt to celebrate my 60th birthday, and I loved every moment. If you're just meeting me and my channel for the first time, or you just missed it, I made a couple videos about my trip to Egypt, and I will link them down below in the description. For extroverts, travel is all about people, meeting people, crowds, shared experiences, a concert, a football game, a tennis match. For introverts, solo travel is blissfully simple. go where you want, when you want, without having to ask anyone else's opinion. That's why I love my solo travel time and why I'm eager to plan another solo adventure very soon. So, yes, extroverts might rule the parties and the networking events, but introverts rule the calm, the focused, and the meaningful moments. We thrive where depth matters more than noise. If you related to this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps more quiet souls find this channel. And subscribe if you like having conversations about living well as an introvert, a solo, or simply in your own peaceful lane. Until next time, stay grounded, stay true to yourself, and remember, quiet doesn't have to mean small.